Hello everyone out in Facebook land. How do you all like the little effect that's going on with the little glitz and glam? Sparkle, 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 sparkle. I'm gonna wait a little bit because I never really go live on the dance studio page, but hey, I'm excited for this. It's cool. And go ahead and grab some of these things here while I'm waiting for some people to jump on. Happy Monday. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. Staying dry because it's been one of those days where it's like a little bit rainy, Yeah. Whoop whoop. And thank you all for joining me. So I wanted to, that's getting really warm, cool. I wanted to share a few things with you guys today. So right now I am brewing some sacred tea, but how I'm brewing it is going to be a little different than how some people do. I am focusing on Wild Woman today because if I can be a little bit more not discreet, it's that time of the month for your girl. Mother Nature done dropped off Samurai and I am babysitting his ass. So I need a little bit of Wild Woman in my life right now. So if you're not familiar with the Sacred Tea and the Deviware line, let me show you a few bits, okay? So if you get the large size, and also I should be able to see your comments, the teas come in these beautiful extra sparkly packs here. Like, who doesn't like sparkles, right? For sure. So this one's Wild Woman, and you can see that it is flavorful, nice, very colorful. This one is Ostara, another beautiful, flavorful pack. Here we have Liquid Sunshine. Oh yeah. And the Him one, I didn't grab that one today. But these are the large sizes. Cool thing is that we do have the small sizes too. So let's explain the sacred tea a little bit, okay? These are teas that I create myself. They're all organic, all natural. Some of them, all of these are like naturally caffeinated, but they have their own distinct flavor and notes. Like the Liquid Sunshine and the Wild Woman have a pu'er base. So this is the small size, and you have the large sizes. The small sizes are $2. The large sizes are $15. Cool thing with the small sizes is this makes either a full pot of tea, which is for most people about 10 to 14 ounces of brewed tea, kind of like something like this, or like a kettle, right? Or you can do one of these little things, like one of the little balls or spoons or whatnot, little brewing dude, and break these packs up. Like a pack like this gets you 3 or 4 12 to 14 ounce cups. The large sizes definitely give you a whole bunch because a little bit goes a long way. That's the cool thing about tea that doesn't really set on like a grocery store shelf for a long time. Like, you don't know how long it's been sitting there and sitting in the warehouse. So over time, a lot of times tea will lose its potency and some of its flavorful notes. There is no additional like essential oils in these or flavor enhancers. It is literally the herbs in the tea when I'm creating it. So before I package it up, like this one is Wild Woman, I usually measure with this particular one because this is the whole thing of this is pretty much goes in here. So this pack is will give you about 3 to 5 ounces, not fluid ounces, of tea there. But again, a little bit goes a long way. So let me just show you. So I have this French press, right? Excuse me one moment while I get the little lid thing off. There's not that much in there, just a little bit. And it's going to make this whole French press full of the Wild Woman tea. And oh my gosh. It smells so good. So Wild Woman has the Pu'er base, which is the black tea. Pu'er is fermented a little bit longer than traditional black tea. And there is the mint blend. So I dry mint. It's a combination of mint, spearmint, chocolate mint, and it smells so good. Pink and red roses. And then it's got a little bit of a spiciness with the burdock root. So the cool thing with burdock root is burdock root helps with blood sugar levels, inflammation, arthritis. Oh, and also there's raspberry leaves in here. And raspberry leaves is great for regulating hormones, and if you have your internal ovaries and have a monthly cycle or whatnot. It's also great for like cramps and menstruation. Raspberry leaves also helps with inflammation, and then burdock root helps with digestion and arthritis. A couple other things that these herbs combined together do is helps with anxiety and mood, stress. It's just really, really good. And y'all feel free to read up a little bit more about the different herbs and herbal combinations. Like roses has also been good for uplifting mood, and like when I'm saying these things, like even in the Wild Women, men or people who identify as men can also drink the tea. It's not just gender specific. But the cool thing, like everything I create, it has some, in my opinion, spiritual ties and essences that go along with it. I pray over things, and I felt so divinely inspired to create Wild Woman, because I'm like, you know what? Sometimes as women, we get a little stressed. We get a little beside ourselves. And then also I saw some of my friends struggling with their own harmonizing of their own femininity, and just, you hear stuff. You hear stuff and you see stuff. Sometimes you just gotta sit there and be quiet and just be like, oh, okay. Because everybody has masculine and feminine qualities in them. And it's always a good day when you harmonize that. And there's been a lot of trauma in the world where when even just saying the words masculine and feminine sets people on edge. But how cool would it be if, at least for a few moments, it didn't have such a sting? We all need those moments. And excuse me, I'm gonna turn the hot water down here because I can hear it already going. But just take a few moments and regroup a little bit. So that, plus also knowing that whenever I have to babysit Samurai, sometimes I get drained. I get drained a lot, and the cramps hurt, and as I've gotten older, I know my own personal cycle has changed a lot that they don't even tell you about as a woman. They just tell you the gist of what it's like and what you can get, and Mito don't always work. Or for people that can't do NSAIDs, aspirin, and ibuprofen, there are people out there that are like that, where even sometimes it's just hard to sleep, move around, do anything. I'm not saying that this is a cure-all. It's not. It's an herbal tea. You can just drink it just because it tastes good, or if the herbs help, they help. I mean, it's just what it is. I'm not a doctor. I advise you before any kind of herbal tea, I don't care, my tea, anybody else's tea, whatever tea you pick up on the shelf at your grocery store, just check with your doctor, check with your physician, check with your holistic care person or whatever, and make sure it's gonna be good for you. If you are on prescription drug medicine, make sure that it doesn't interact. Burdock root helps with like blood pressure, and also if you're on blood thinners, skip Wild Woman because it has burdock root in it. Burdock root does help with making sure that the blood's not super thick. Also, it's a great spice that's used in a lot of Asian cooking, Asian and Indian cooking. There's burdock root in there sometimes, just like how there's cardamom in some things. But you know, I always put that disclaimer on there. It's like, hey, if you're on blood thinners, you're going to skip on this because you don't want to double blood thin. And it's not that much. It's not that much. It's just a little bit just to give it a nice little spicy kick. But if this is for you, if you feel called to it, I mean, it just smells so good just even before it brews. So let's make some, shall we? Yes. Gonna fill up my little glass here. And I like doing this a little separate from like a coffee pot drip. And you can toss the leaves in a kettle and let it brew that way. And then take like a strainer. I always use one of these kind of strainers and then just strain it into the cup after it steeps for about like 5 minutes. But you know, hey, I'm gonna do the French press way, so I have a little bit more. And if I want to change up and switch to, I don't know, maybe Liquid Sunshine or the Him tea that I make, which has been my new favorite. Just when I think I can't make a tea that's my favorite, here comes another one inspired. It's just like, oh yeah, so we're going to do that one. I might talk about him in the next live feed. And if you like these live feeds on the Dance Studio page versus my personal page, just, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know. So I'm putting the lid back on, and as you can see, it's already started changing color. This sucker don't waste no time. That's the cool thing about fresh or fresher, not sitting on the shelf teas, is that because that little bit goes a long way, it's a little bit more potent. So we're gonna just let this steep for about 5 minutes, okay? But yeah, I'm grateful, and also want to thank you all for the ones who have purchased from the Sacred Tea line. There is a link in the description of this live video where you can go ahead and get your own at the Devi Dance Studio website, and you click on Deviware, scroll down to Sacred Tea, or click on the ones that's featured, or you can go to Deviware, that's DEVI WEAR company, the word company site SITE, and click on Sacred Tea, or scroll down to the featured ones, read up a little bit more about it, pick your size, because I do have them in stock, ready to ship. I ship out fast, and who doesn't want something in a cool, sparkly bag, right? So it's got the title on the front, brewing directions on the back. I've got my cup here, and you know what? It's great by itself, even without a sweetener, at least in my opinion, because I'm not a person that always has to have everything sweet. But if you want to add some sweetness, I personally don't use white sugar. I use coconut sugar, sometimes agave, monk fruit. Sometimes I'll use something that may have white sugar in it, like condensed milk, or almond milk, because I like condensed milk. I think it's nice when it's in this kind of setting. Feel free to add your own creamers or whatever you want. Almond milk sometimes has the little thinness to the cream flavor. But if you want full cream, condensed milk, or whole milk. But you guys know, y'all know y'all's lifestyle. Lifestyle. If you like, you know, not something that's of dairy, you have choices, you have options. Baby, flavor it how you want. But man, oh man, like even just now in the French press. Okay, so it's been going for a little bit. It's definitely gotten a lot darker, right? Just while we've been talking. Look at that swirl action there. Just beautiful, right? Haven't even been a whole 5 minutes yet. But I can already smell the roses. And there wasn't that many roses. Y'all saw what it looked like. Not that many roses. I already smell the roses. I definitely smell the mint. It is so good. Most people, when they have the Wild Woman tea, they message me back or leave some feedback or send me an email and say, oh my God, just the fragrance alone is good. How it makes them feel, a lot of warmth, a lot of calming, a lot of soothing. Some people have messaged me and said that they've never had anything like this before, and that makes me feel good because with the stuff that I create, and everybody creates everything, you know, being a creator, it's always good to hear that good feedback. And you know, I'm grateful. I thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for liking it. Thank you for people who have made some suggestions on, you know, certain kind of blends or topics or fields that they're interested in. I go into prayer, meditation, and think about it, wait for those answers and try to create. You know, I know it sounds far-fetched and crazy, and if that's not your cup of tea, just know that there's delicious tea out there, even if you're not connected with the spiritual part. But yeah, I mean, oh man, Wild Woman's so good. I've been drinking the hemp tea, and I had a question. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to go live. So I had a question is, why? Where does the name come from? Why do you make these things? So, like I said about Wild Woman, trying to, when I was in prayer, listening to a lot of things and just being observant, I was like, you know what? There are some people seriously hurting. Socially, you know, spiritually, physically, just in their own essence. And then there is power in words and perception. So, for me, I was like, if it was me, what would I do? What would I like? And just listen to what people had to say about what they would like. Like, if there's something that is within my power, my range, if I could do it and it helps the community, that's cool. You know, that's cool. We all need help and support sometimes, right? But with teas itself are kind of a little, not just it gives you a break to hydrate yourself and recuperate and think, but in some cultures, teas are part of a spiritual journey. It's their own way of worship, a ritual, if you will. You know, not just gathering around together where you can have like a community thing and share a spot of tea or share a plate, but it's sacred. You know, and all the stuff that I create is sacred too. So I just wanted to pop on here while I'm making some Wild Woman, because I know I gotta finish getting the rest of my day started. So it's been about 5 minutes. Look how dark that is and beautiful. Just from that little bit alone. That little bit, honey. That little bit. Like, the large size is gonna last you a long time. A long, long time. So I'm just gonna pour it in a cup. I don't have nothing in here. No sugar, no creamer of any kind. Now, that's one thing. Because it is tea, try it without creamer. You can try it without sugar. I would not use the artificial creamers. I mean, there's so much stuff, at least here in the U.S., that we put in our body that's not all the way real. It's got other fillers and preservatives and things in it. Honey, just, if this is the only thing that you do for yourself where you don't add extra synthetics and stuff, let this be it. Okay, just give yourself some time and see if you like it. I mean, because a lot of those artificial creamers and sweeteners, I mean, they're flavorful. They can be very tasty, but it's just so much on the palate, on the taste buds. Give yourself some time to try something different. I mean, not everybody's gonna like that. People have their own thing where they stick in their own routine, and that's that for them, you know. But just, if you have the opportunity to branch out a little bit, see if you like it. You never know. You know, you never know what you might like. Just try it. Try it and see. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, for people who've never seen how French press works. So there's a little screen in the lid thing here. Okay. So there's a screen. You kind of see this little screen here, the little stopper and stuff. There's my little pour spout with the sifter there. Okay. So I'm going to take this plunger. Push this plunger down slowly and hold on to the handle. Okay. I'm going to turn that around a little bit. So I'm push this slowly, and it's going to push the tea, leaves, and spices and herbs down to the bottom. Okay, so this is like a little about that much gap down there. So all this liquid up here doesn't have all the leaves floating around in it and things. Okay. So with my hand on top of the plunger, on top of the lid, just going to tilt this in my cup. Pour out however much I want. You want to go slow, okay? Being grateful and thankful. And this is hot as balls, by the way, because we just took the water off the stove. 5 minutes is not enough to cool it down, okay? It's just enough to brew. Alright, so I still got a good bit left. And I can always add more water to it. Does it make the tea a lot weaker? No, not really, because it's only steeped for about 5 minutes, right? Let me set that to the side. So let me just go ahead and add that up. Add that water. So pull the plunger back up. I like to move this around. Hold the glass down. I'll get the lid off. Okay. So you see the little screen? Little mesh screen there. And you can definitely see the leaves. Everything's expanded a little bit more. Call it the roses. I'm adding just a little bit more water. Let that finish steeping up. Put the lid back on. But I like brewing this tea this way because the leaves really get to expand. That's the same thing like if you brew it in the kettle, like you toss the tea leaves and things in the kettle, the leaves really get to expand, and that's how you get to experience the full flavor of your tea. Whenever you do like a coffee drip, I mean, you can, the water gets hot. When you do a coffee drip, it's only going to be able to expand a little bit because that filter is not going to be completely saturated with water. Like the drip, it gets so high, and then, you know, the plunger goes down and it pours into your decanter here. So wait that time, wait that moment for the expansion to release all its essences and goodness. But yeah, like you can drink it black, no sugar, no cream, whatever. And then try it with your sweetener, try it with cream, try it with your sweetener and cream, whatever version of those things there are for you. It's so good. Okay, so let me explain a little bit more of the herbs. So burdock root is kind of spicy. Peppermint is peppermint, or the mint blend is minty. And you get to, if you're a person that has like a more of expanded palate, you'll be able to taste the standard, you know, regular mint, the extra, I would say, cooling of what spearmint is like, and then the savory of the chocolate mint. If you've ever had those herbs by themselves alone, either fresh or dried, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've never had that experience, honey, go ahead and try. Go to like a farmer's market or like a Whole Foods or somebody that grows it, you know, and just try them so you know what they're like. If you ever had a mint julep, usually mint juleps made with regular mint, but some places, some good bars have a combination of all that, and they muddle that together, and those are the best mint juleps. And even mojitos, sometimes they'll have a combination of those mint. Oh my God, so good when they do the combo mint. Raspberry leaves are a little bitter to the palate, okay, but they do have good purposes. So that's why you kind of need like helpers with raspberry leaves. So like raspberry, the berries themselves can be sweet or tart, but the leaves are just kind of like a little bit of a bitter note. So all that together kind of helps itself out. It makes the raspberry leaves not so bitter. And then you have the roses. So rose to me tastes exactly how it smells. It's got those floral notes. It's uplifting and just delicious. If you've ever had rose tea without any extra, it's very floral. I always suggest if you have rose tea, maybe add some real honey, not a honey blend, but like real honey with it to level out the floral. You can mix it with mint, but roses and mint go so good together. Even like roses and some citrus go well together too. And then there's the pu'er. Oh yes, pu'er. Pu'er has caffeine in it. It's one of my favorite black teas because there's different types of black tea for those who may not be familiar. Oh, there's several varieties, darling, and the level of savory to deliciousness to bold and light. Oh yeah, tea's good. Tea's Tea's a passion that I didn't know that I had. I always knew that I enjoyed drinking tea, but it really has become something that I'm very passionate about. Who knew? Yeah. And yeah, so I like this the way it is. When I add honey to it, it definitely does change the flavor. Like, to me, the honey brings out a little bit more of the honey's not overpowering because I don't add that much, but at least in the Wild Woman, I think it enhances more of that comforting feeling. And it doesn't, it's a little hard to explain. It just, it changes it just a little bit. So I don't feel like I'm getting super excited or anxious or anything, because that's definitely not how the herbal blend works, because it kind of levels all that out. But it just feels like if you've ever had like that nice meeting with a group of friends where everybody's getting along and y'all have cool ideas together, and it's just a nice experience. It's a nice experience. But yeah, Wild Woman helps. It helps a lot, not just right through here and a little further down, but it helps. It helps a lot. It helps, you know, give you that clarity of mind and help with inspirations. It helps you to be a lot more free. Same thing with him. And I'll probably go in another video about the him tea that I make. I've got a him series with deodorant and body scrub. I think I might do a bath soak, but definitely with the tea. Oh my God. Healing the masculine qualities in all of us, and then even the divine masculine men, you know, that it's been a big topic. I've got a lot of guy friends, and just to see them change over the years, especially the ones that used to be kind of toxic, level out and own their shit, where they took a moment and was like, oh my God, I was that douchebaggy dude, or I was never taught this. And just especially getting to see the guys together, because for those that don't really know me, I'm going a little bit more into myself here. I've always been considered that girl guy, you know, like I've always been one of the dudes. And it's always been nice to just be one of the dudes, because you get to see all the different personalities of dudes. It only got weird whenever, you know, you kind of go after puberty and you're young adults, and then you're like, ew, why are you looking at me like that, bro? That's gross, you know? But being in my 30s now, they're kind of like, oh yeah, that awkward phase is a little off now. So now I'm back to being one of the dudes. One of the dudes, right? So it's just nice to hear those conversations. It's nice to see that guys are starting to understand that they can have feelings too. And I know that sounds very cliche, but yeah, y'all are allowed to feel, okay? It's not being wimpy or simp just to have feelings and emotions. Not everything revolves around the penis. And yeah, just, you gotta live, darling. And you gotta live all the aspects of your life. So I know a lot of dudes didn't get very honorable men to have as guides or figures. Some of them did. Some of them wanted to rebel. Some of them just didn't know. And as we all grow and as we go forward in humanity, we got to do better. And it starts with all of us on the inside, and especially men. It starts with you, baby. So when I was creating the hymn tea, again, listening and observing and just things that was coming to mind, I started thinking about, well, what were some of the cool prominent male figures out there that were always being very inspirational, whether they be fiction, lore, or, you know, real human beings. What were their qualities? What were they known for? How cool was that? And even just some of the dynamic men that I've known in my life, like, I feel blessed to know that there are some dudes in my life who are happy with their partners, and they are just phenomenal, supportive, whatever their partners want to do. They're there for it. They're their biggest cheerleaders. And I mean, partners, spouses, husbands, wives, whatever, because, you know, um, I've been blessed to have a diverse amount of people from all over the globe, as I consider my close circle of friends. All different walks of life, all different genders, all different sexual preferences, and all different ages. I've seen some young dudes who are doing some amazing things, and some old guys who have just been wonderful elders, you know. And then there's those ones that have hit all the bumps along the way. But with the notes of him's got an Earl Grey base, Sri Lankan cinnamon, and chamomile. It's strong, it's savory. The scent of is very clean, and at least for a woman, you know, myself, let me not just say women, I'm not generalizing, but me as a woman is what I meant to say. Just that fragrance alone, to me, is, it catches my attention. Because I think we've all been in a room where somebody just smells good, and you're just like, ooh, who is smelling good? You're not like turned on, but it's just like, damn, you smell amazing. What the... You know, some people, it's like going in a buffet, like, damn, that chicken smells good. Heck yeah. But like the him tea and the other products that are around the him that I make smells so good to me. It's just comforting. And then the like sweet spice from the cinnamon, because Sri Lankan cinnamon smells so different than like kind of ground one that you get. Because now, like, I've been using Sri Lankan cinnamon for a long time. I've even used Mexican cinnamon, which still smells similar in a lot of ways. I mean, it just really does. Like, sometimes you can't even tell the difference, like, taste-wise, palate-wise. Even though Sri Lankan cinnamon, to me, tastes a little bit more spicy. Like, that sweet, fiery notes that are in there. It's just sweet, fiery. There's a little cooling. It's just nice. The Mexican one is just a tone down from that, but it's more savory. And then you have like the kind that they try to pass off as cinnamon, the one that looks like the little scrolls. And that one, to me, tastes like dirt. It smells like cinnamon, but it tastes like dirt. So I can always tell when it's in. I'm just like, yeah, no. But that, and then the chamomile, like, because you don't need that much chamomile, like real chamomile. Because before I started making tea and bath products and stuff, I'd only really seen ground chamomile. But like real chamomile, dried, looks like this. And just these little these are 4 now. These little 4 bits here would flavor so much tea, because chamomile is extra strong when it's in this form. It's strong, man. And chamomile in this blend is kind of like a mid-tone that brings those two together. And oh man, it's my new favorite, because whenever I drink it, it reminds me of a good hug and comfort, support, everything that was prayed for and channeled in creating that blend. You feel it. At least I do. And the people that have had it, they feel this. That's the feedback I get. They're like, "Girl, yeah, feels like being in the presence of a cool mood." But dudes, you can drink it. Like, guys can drink it too, and hopefully it helps you align that divine masculine in you, not the toxic masculine. Because there's a lot of traits that I think a lot of people are realizing that are toxic in people. Like, insecurity is one. I don't care what your gender is, your age range. I think us as humans, we have to come away from insecurity. We weren't built to have that. Insecurity leads to jealousness, and definitely leads to a lot of depression. I mean, depression is a thing on its own, but insecurity helps that. Okay? Anytime you can separate that, feeding into anything that's going to help with depression coming on, you know, because I mean, everybody's born differently. Everybody has different ways that our brain works and our bodies react to things. So, but insecurity is one of those, like, just weed roots that have to be pulled out. Like, it's the worst taught thing I think that we could ever have as humans. It's just horrible because it helps you miss out on a lot when you're insecure. There are people out there in the world, or experiences and places and even food and beverages that you could, you know, really see if you enjoy. But that insecurity, man, will get in your head and stop you in your tracks, and you'll never know. Or you may be insulting and condescending to somebody that could be your best friend, or the person that has all the answers that you need for the questions that need to be solved. But that insecurity monster just robs you of your joy, it robs you of your opportunity. So the more that you can try to come away from insecurities, what will people think? Or that's not what I was ever taught kind of thing, and it limits you, just come away from it. It's different if you expressing it and then you're going to give yourself the opportunity to learn something different or experience something different so you can find out for yourself. But I don't know. I know I'm on a rant and tirade here. I guess Wild Woman is telling me, just say it, shit. Just say it. Another thing I know is my lives aren't for everybody. But for the ones that they are, I'm grateful and I appreciate you. And I'm glad I can help today. And maybe these conversations, because it is at the beginning of the week, it's a little heavy, middle of the day. Maybe this might help you this week. Maybe something in this live feed that I've said or may keep you encouraged and inspired. Maybe it might be people that are praying for signs and wonders or whatever. Maybe something in this feed might spark something and you'll be like, you know what? That stuck out and it helped me later on in the week realize that, hey, this might be a toxic trait, or this is something that I should allow myself to experience more. Maybe I do need more soothing and calm and support. Maybe I do need to be a little bit more free. Maybe I do need to work on ways for me not to have so much inflammation. Maybe this might be it for you. This might be some words that you needed to hear. But thank you for joining me on this little thing while I talk about some of the teas that we make, or I make. Here in this beautiful space. Real deal Holyfield, baby. They're available. Go ahead and pick them up in the store. Also, I am raising money for phase 2 of Devi Dance Studio. So, a lot going on with phase 2. Thank you all for everybody who's reached out to me that wants to do events with me, who wants me to put events on. Unfortunately, because obviously I do have a roof over my head. Water and bills. I can't do volunteer work anymore. I love helping people, y'all know that, but I can't take away from my household, because if I don't have a place to live and my bills aren't paid, I can't help nobody do nothing. Okay, so and the time and energy and things that it takes for me to put on events, the advertising, the gathering of people, the marketing, the critical thinking, the late nights, the communication and things like that, like it's work. It's just like any other job. Producing and promoting, securing venues, driving around, doing all that, it's work. And I can't sacrifice my basic needs to try and do a lot more community stuff as much as I want to. So that's what the fundraiser is for. It's to help, for one, make sure that the event gets put on. And to make sure that I have enough resources so that I can do the said job. But Devi Dance Studio Phase 2, there's so much. When I started the dance studio years ago, it was from a community outcry for what we needed. A safe place for us to perform and dance and learn. A safe place where teachers, musicians, photographers could get together. Other cultural people who wanted to really debunk bullshit that was around and get rid of the toxic environment that I was seeing in the dance and performing world, at least from what I could do, and for people that wanted to be associated with me. It has been a long time coming. It's been a long dream of mine since I was young to do something similar, but then really, I want to say maybe like 7 years ago, that's when the push was really coming out. And I took some chances, you know, and I thank you for everybody that stood with me in the beginning and stands with me now and keeps me inspired to keep going, because y'all help, you know. Y'all definitely help. And I think even over the last year, everybody's realizing that community interaction is important, whether it be virtually or physical, that we as humans do need each other. And if it can be in a safe space where there's no bullshit, there's no competition amongst us, we're all human. Whether you are a skilled professional or a student just starting out or just somebody that's kind of interested, you're welcome. You know, these are the roots of dance, especially the types of dance that I do. All that's all community and celebration based. It's not always showboaty. It's definitely not tearing you down. We don't rock with the mean girls mentality over here. And it's just not tolerated. I won't tolerate that shit. I can't. Because I've seen too much where there were very talented people reaching out to others for support, inspiration, questions needing to be asked and answered. And all they got was hate and bullshit. And you see that even more so now with, and if you haven't clicked off yet and you click off now, understand, go ahead and click off. But you see that in the inclusion of not just different dance styles, but musicians versus performers. You see that in people of color versus not people of color, or people that are considered not people of color in Western culture. And even more eye-opening is that you kind of knew about it more in the world, but then you really get to see it in the world. But you got to be the change that you wish to see. It's a phrase that everybody knows, but there's action behind it. And you may not always be successful and definitely might not always be supported, but at least you're doing it. You know? So that's what Devi Dance Studio does. It's a safe place for people to come learn about dance, learn about culture, learn about community, get connected to other people, places and things in a good light. And be cheered on and supported in what you do. So when you see me posting events, when you see me tagging people, rising stars, people that have been in the game for a while, yeah, these are good places and people and things. I firmly believe in supporting everybody, because you never know who really needs that support. Just because you see them out there all the time, you don't know if they really truly need the support or not. But if you have the opportunity to support them, do it. Say a kind word. You never know what they're going through that day. They might need to hear something that just keeps them going on. We've all seen over the past couple of years some very prominent figures check out of here, whether it be from viruses or by their own hand. And, you know, telling somebody you appreciate them and you love them is just as good as a hug too. Showing up to their events, resharing their events, donating to their causes, shopping locally, or been like, oh yeah, my little cousin's got this brick and mortar store down the street. Let's just go pay them a visit, you know. Showing up to their farmers market gigs, or we're hitting festival season right now. Wandering around the festival, especially if it's a free festival and you know somebody art-wise is showing up, you know, show up. Show up to your friends and family's gig. It helps. It helps keep them going. You might just make their day. And presence matters, because there's been times I've been to many festivals. I'm telling y'all. I'm saying this because some people just don't know. There's been a many festival I've been to where there's a bunch of booths. People that have been around for years. But people will pass them up because they don't see somebody else standing there. move, like looking at whatever they have to display. It's just like when you go to a nightclub, for whatever reason, nobody wants to hit the floor. The music could be banging, banging. Nobody wants to hit the floor because nobody's out there dancing. Sometimes you gotta be the first person out there on the dance floor. Sometimes you gotta be the last person out there on the dance floor. Same thing about musicians. You can see a street musician playing or being at an event where everybody is just dog quiet. They've been playing their ass off. They might be sweating, you know, maybe from nerves or just because the lights is hot. They pouring their soul into whatever they're creating. And there's no clapping. The people may have enjoyed it, but they just don't clap. All it takes is one person to start clapping. Everybody else will start clapping too. That's support, baby. Acknowledging the experience you just had and showing support. So yeah, thank you for tea session. I gotta get on. Feel free to shop at the shop. There's donation information in the description. You can donate to the Facebook page, the GoFundMe page. It takes a little while for us to get the funds and they charge a fee. But if you want to directly donate, you can donate via Venmo and PayPal, or Venmo and Cash App. Just pipe into Hula Said Sana. If you want to do PayPal, paypal.me/Devi Dance Studio US. All right. I'll see y'all very soon. I might do a late night dance session tonight because we haven't done one of those in a while. We've done a cooking thing and we're doing this little, you know, chat update thing now. Would y'all like a dance session if I can get Facebook not to mute it? Would y'all like it? Drop a comment below. All right. Well, I'll see you later, baby. Enjoy your day. Bye for now.